Alright, so I'm live and I need a haircut. I have bad hair and obviously I could use a shave. And I actually, this is a little bit of an update. Actually, it's a fairly big update because I haven't actually done one of these for a while because I'm still stranded in Ottawa, but possibly not for too much longer. So I wanted to talk about some good stuff and I wanted to talk about just a little bit because I know a lot of you have actually been sort of watching this channel and I've noticed that as I've been sort of providing updates on what's been going on with the car and the breakdown and trying to do a show sort of in exile and a TV show in exile, it seems to have provided some, I guess, some interest, I guess, because maybe people think that there's some Hollywood on high and that life doesn't happen. And in television production, I guarantee you it absolutely does. Still got to pay my phone bill, still got to eat, still got to shit, still got to, that's still what's going on. So the good news is the car is apparently fixed. The car has been fixed. It has a brand new engine that's been put in it. It only took 2 months, which in my opinion is not great, but at least we have, you know, that the guys there have put the engine in, so there's a brand new engine in the car. So the bad news is it's still halfway across the country. So basically what I have to do is I have to fly basically from Ottawa to, Thunder Bay to get the vehicle from the dealership, right? Because it was a factory part that had to be put in. And then it has to be driven back. And then from there, I have to basically figure my stuff out and then go back to Saskatchewan. So this is going to be very interesting. So it's going to burn up a good 2 weeks either way. Now, the other thing, so obviously what we're doing right now is while the crew is here with me, we're just basically doing episodes. So we actually managed to get an episode of Taekwondo, actually, which we had not done. I'm surprised that we had not done it. So I did that, and you would think having a background in martial arts and studying Krav Maga and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that I would have a bit more of a proclivity for the high kicks. And the really high kicks, it's actually surprisingly difficult to get your leg in the position, right? Because in Krav, we do an adapted kick. I mean, it's the same kick. A roundhouse kick is a roundhouse kick is a roundhouse kick. And I don't actually, just to give you an idea of just how ghetto this, how I'm doing this right now, is basically I have my phone camera in basically I have the phone camera and a handle in the kitchen, and it's pointing like at my buddy's house, and then I basically just got it filming that way. So I can't really show you the leg position, but it's interesting because you have to kind of swivel your leg in and then do the kick out. And there's about maybe 20-30% more rotation than I do when I'm doing a roundhouse style kick. So I was able to do it, but it was not easy for me. It's not easy. And Master Code did say, when you're a little older and you don't start when you're 7, it can take time. You have to build up to that flexibility. I have a lot of flexibility in my arms and certain parts of my legs, which my sensei in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has mentioned to me. And, I'm was pretty decent at kicks, which, to be fair, you don't do in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a grappling martial art. But it is one of those things that, when you are doing that kind of kicking, it's interesting. If you have something that's just similar enough, it can make a really big difference. Even just something as simple as a rotation. Sometimes when something has enough overlap, it can really kind of throw you for a loop. So that was interesting. And then we're doing a hockey episode with my old buddy Dan Tessier. He's now so he's got his hockey school, and we're going to be doing some episodes with some of the Ottawa Redblacks with the CFL. So it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of a nice homecoming. But the big news is the car's fixed. It's far away, so I'm not gonna actually be able to get it until the 22nd, and then it's gonna take a couple of days to drive back to Ottawa, and then I'm gonna have to make the big trip back to Saskatchewan because I have business interests on both sides of the country. So trying to juggle those has been difficult because I was supposed to be back in Saskatchewan on August 3rd, and then just be able to do that. But obviously, best laid plans, and it also is the reason why I haven't been able to get a haircut and why I look like a homeless person, sort of. But that's just sort of the way things go sometimes. But not happy with my hair and not really all that happy with how I look. But I've been able to get a good amount of exercise, which is nice. And hair can always be cut and faces can always be shaved. And I think it's important to show that not everything is perfect all the time. I both for men and women, and I think it's important to show that I'm not always 100% at my best, and you just have to kind of get on with it and do it. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So yeah, car's fixed finally, and at least that I don't have to pay for. But believe me, this is cost a lot. I mean, it's a major expense to have to go halfway across the country and basically keep yourself going, even if you're staying with crew or a friend, right? I mean, you have to go and you have to buy everything, and you have to go and get clothes, and you have to go and get food, and you have to figure out a way to get yourself sorted. And I have the dog with me, so he's got to eat, and he's got to have food, and then he's getting used to a new routine, and all of these things. And on top of that, I'm running a production company, right? I'm trying to run the company across the country, right? So I'm basically trying to do what I can with cell phones and Skype and Microsoft Teams, and then on top of that, get my own work done, and then put out the fires. Oh, well, you need to have this done in the car, and then people going, well, where are you, and what's going on, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's a real inconvenience. It's a real inconvenience. And thus far, the dealership has been pretty good. We'll see what kind of crap they might try to pull when I get there. Thus far, they've been pretty good. We'll be going after Kia Canada, though, because of the expense, because it was a recall, and they're supposed to basically send something out that says this is a known issue, you might have this happen, make an appointment to come in and get it done. And they didn't do that, because if they had, then I would have gone to a Kia dealership and had it done before I made a punt. And the car gave out in the middle of on the highway, in the middle of nowhere, where there were transport trucks everywhere. It could have been killed. That's a major problem, and Kia's going to have to pay for it. So that's just sort of how things go right now. It's funny, you really kind of see how people are when the chips are down. I've seen some really amazing things with this since this incident. Some people have been fantastic, and some of our clients and we have been getting our work done. So that is something that I think is worth pointing out. And then other people decide to use it as an opportunity to be an asshole and try to take advantage. I've had to have some harsh conversations with people. So it's always interesting to see how things go. But we're in production for the most part. We're in high spirits, and Go Nitro Season 3 is in the can, and we're just starting on Season 4. And the French version, the pilot is done and out, and hopefully we'll see what happens with that. And that's sort of where we are. So I hope to do more of these now that I found basically a good place to put this. I won't do them all from the cell phones, but I do want to do some. And and I have like my little webcasting box and that. But I thought, hey, you know what? I'm here. The house is reasonably quiet. My buddy, he has 3 kids, so as you all under the age of 6. So as you can probably imagine, it's not particularly quiet around here. It's quite it's quite noisy, and that's fine. I mean, that's the joy of being a kid. But everybody here is okay, and there's plenty of exciting episodes of Go Nitro coming your way, and some really exciting content coming your way on the channel that does not involve me looking low budget at a cell phone camera. So please do subscribe if you haven't already. And I also am planning on doing a couple of tutorials, some broadcast tutorials, because there were some people that were asking me, oh, can you kind of go into the importance of luminance levels and things like that for broadcast, and that's something that I'm going to be doing as well, particularly while I'm here. So that's something that I'm going to do, because I think broadcast standards are really interesting. I think this is something that people do need to know, and I think that it's kind of falling down the wayside a little bit. Even when I was working at the television station that I was at, I mean, I would often see all kinds of things, even from established agencies, no less. I would see stuff from established agencies where they would have stuff in, and the levels were all over the place, or just stuff that was just plain wrong. And I've gone into this in a bunch of my videos. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much where we are right now. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. And I intend to do more of these with higher quality. I realize that I haven't done these in a while, and they do seem to be of interest to people. So that's sort of where we are right now. And the other thing you can do too is go to gonitro.tv, and you can see stuff on Go Nitro as well. Oh, there was one other thing that I wanted to mention before I go, and that is, starting this fall, you will actually be able to watch all of the Go Nitro episodes per week. You'll be able to watch them in their entirety, because we had a deal, the way we had our broadcast deal structured before, we couldn't actually put our shows online, right? Because it was sort of in competition with the television broadcast, and they understandably wanted to have the right to air it first. But now that we have so many episodes, now that we're coming up to that magic number of 65, there's an awful lot of episodes that can be put up without actually affecting the episodes that are currently running on TV, right? Because, I mean, they'll still run the older episodes as reruns, but it doesn't really dilute the television audience and the streaming audience so much by having them available on YouTube, just because there's so many episodes. So for those of you that don't have cable, or might be living in an area where you don't actually get the show on rabbit ears, now you have the opportunity to basically go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can watch the show for free. So I don't actually have a hard and fast date as to when we're actually going to set that up, but I suspect it will probably start in October. I will, just because it's really busy and I have to get back to Saskatchewan and so on and so forth. But what I will be doing is I will be making an announcement here, and I will be putting it on social media and everything else. So that is, but that is something that I want to keep in mind. You'll be able to watch all the Go Nitro episodes in English for free, and depending on how things go with the French version, I intend to do the same. So yeah, so there will be some announcements coming up. So yeah. Anyway, hit that subscribe button, and I will have an update sooner rather than later. And now, through the magic of me basically trying to figure out where to stop this, I'm going to stop it. X.